Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing the newest episode of The Bad Batch, Juggernaut, which is episode 12 of season 3 of the series. This review will include some spoilers, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, please stop, go watch the episode, and then come back and watch this review. With that being said, let's talk about Juggernaut. Really enjoyed this episode, a lot of cool elements, and definitely a return I was not expecting. Rampart's reappearance in the series was not something I had even remotely thought of. You know, going to this season, anytime you know a season's a last one for a series, you always kind of speculate, especially something that's kind of like Star Wars related, like what characters might make a appearance in this last season. Never really occurred to me that Rampart might. And I kind of felt like his story had been really resolved really well, but the way they brought him back in this episode I thought was really well done. It was a logical choice, so I really have no issues with it. So, you know, even though I wasn't expecting it, I think they really made a good story decision to bring this character back. And I'm kind of interested to see what will happen with him, and I'll talk about that more in a second. I'll kind of focus on the episode in two different parts. First, the part involving the Batch himself, and then the rest focusing on what's happening with Omega at Tantus. So on to the Batch. Obviously, they are, focused on trying to get Omega back and trying to figure out, how they can track her down and how they can figure out where Tantus is. We get the reappearance of Fee, which I'm glad. It looks like she might play a bigger role in the rest of the series. I'm kind of hoping she'll kind of be the pilot for the group, and they'll be using her ship now that they've lost their own ship during the attack on Pabu. And I always enjoyed the character Fee a lot. Her debut in the episode Entombed in season 2, I believe, was one of my favorite episodes of the series. Absolutely loved it. I've really loved her character. I really like how her characters evolve, because I think when she first debuted, I kind of feel like, I think this character's up to no good, and she at some point is going to betray them. Where I had the opposite feeling about Sid. I kind of thought Sid was kind of portrayed as kind of like a bad character, but at some point she'd come around and really be there for the Batch. And boy, did I get that wrong. It's the complete opposite. Obviously, Sid betrayed the Batch and does not look like she's going to get... Boy, did I get that completely wrong, because obviously Sid betrayed the Batch and does not appear to get... a redemption arc in this series. I do not think she deserves one, honestly. But Fee has been loyal to the Batch from the beginning. A big part, obviously, the relationship she developed with Tech, and we get more hints of that relationship and how much that relationship meant to her when she's kind of interacting with Crosshair, and she kind of drops little lines about what Tech had told Fee about Crosshair. And it kind of makes me sad that we did get to see more of Fee and Tech's interactions and stuff. I think I would have loved an episode that kind of had maybe focused mainly on them and developed a little bit more of what their relationship was like, because it clearly means a lot to the character Fee, which I think is awesome. I love they kind of dropped those little tidbits in there. But Crosshair kind of informs the group he has an idea of how they could track down where Mount Tantus is, and that's where we get Rampart back, and we do find out he has been in prison. I was kind of interested once we see the situation. I was like, all right, is he still going to be like the stuck-up Imperial, or is he going to be like very anti-Imperial? Like, now I'm a rebel. I'm ready to fight back against this evil group that basically sold me out and just thrown me away and forgot about me. It seems like he still has the same big ego and very high opinion of himself and low opinion of everybody else. He doesn't really come across as anti-Imperial, which kind of makes me wonder, it's clear by the end of this episode he's going to be in the next episode, or at least some future episodes. And I'm kind of curious, will we see Rampart try to sell out the Batch to get back in the good graces of the Empire? Or will he help the Batch, because even though he doesn't like them, he is so mad at the Empire for betraying him that he's looking for some sort of a revenge against the Empire. So I'm really interested to see what happens with that character. But the entire breaking Rampart out of jail, and then everything that happens when they try to get off the planet, loved it. That entire action sequence reminded me a little bit of like a little mini Star Wars version of like Mad Max Fury Road. The battle between the two turbo tanks was amazing. I loved all the action sequences of that. And the thing I liked about it was like, it's clear it wasn't the bats just like completely just wiped them out and had no opposition. It's clear the Imperial crew and the other turbo tank knew what they were doing. It was kind of an even fight, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. But all the various weapons they kind of deployed when they were playing their game of chicken with each other on the bridge was amazing. I loved when the bats finally disabled the other turbo tank and it kind of goes down, and I quickly had to like, are they going to use this as a ramp? And sure enough, they jumped it, and that was to me one of the cooler moments of the batch. And I like that because you got to get back to like, going back to the Bad Batch's glory days of like, these are really serious, extremely talented fighters. They're basically special forces. And we really haven't got to see their fighting skills and their full glory a whole lot in the series, especially recently. So I liked in this episode we kind of go back to see like, these are why these guys were so special at what they did. But the entire chase sequence with the Empire was very cool. Loved it. When they get off the planet, finally Fee comes and gets them off. The little thing with Rampart, like, I don't know where Tantus is, but I think I have an idea. And that's where I'm kind of a little suspicious. Is he going to betray the batch, or is he going to be like, no, screw the Empire? It's not like I care about the Bad Batch and y'all getting Omega back. It's just like, I hate the Empire now. So I'm here to see where that storyline goes, but that entire action sequence there was really cool, really amazing, and I loved it. Now go to Tantus. We get Omega being, her interaction with Hemlock, and I think Hemlock is still one of the best villains Star Wars has created, live action, animation, books, whatever. He's an amazing villain. So evil, but so interesting to see and see how his story develops. We're getting more and more hints. It seems like Emery is getting more and more uncomfortable with what's going on there. She clearly doesn't want to do stuff with Omega. She's almost like, I hate that you're back here. I don't want to hurt you. But she hasn't had that final break yet where she's actually willing to full-fledged, all right, we're doing something about this. So I'm really suspecting at some point, I don't know what the moment is, that she's going to take a stand and try to help Omega. I guess my pet theory is when the Bad Batch eventually shows up on Tantus and tries to rescue her, that is when Emery will take a stand and try to help her. I have a feeling that she's going to die when that happens, but I'm pulling for Emery, and hopefully we'll get that character have a redemption arc, even though we're not going to have redemption arcs with characters like Sid. I don't think we're going to get one with Rampart, but maybe we can get one with Emery. We get more confirmation about why Omega's blood is so important. Fully confirmed now that her blood allows midichlorians to be transferred and cloned and stay at the same levels. So we obviously know why that's important. And it'll be interesting to see. They still haven't really ruled out or confirmed, like, does she have, the Force? Would it surprise me at some point at the end of the season we maybe see Omega use the Force at some point? That's another prediction myself. But overall, I enjoyed this episode. Very cool action sequence. We get a little bit more development with Omega. And I think we're starting to shape up and see where this is going. The one thing I don't really know is, Rampart is basically like, I have an idea how we can figure it out. I don't know what his idea is. I'm not sure if it's to go see another character, or maybe it's to go, find an Imperial ship or a computer terminal that they can either, track or interact with to try to get the location for Tantus. So not sure what's going on there, but I'll be very interested to see what they come up with. And with that being said, I'll use this as an announcement. I'm very excited for next week's episode. I am going to be a guest on Star Wars Explained for their Bad Batch after show, The Clone Zone. That always comes out 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, I should say 6:03, I think, is their official start time for The Clone Zone. But definitely, I hope you can go over to Star Wars Explained on YouTube and join us for that live show, as we have a very fun discussion about next week's episode of The Bad Batch. So hopefully we have a fun, interesting one to talk about. But that's my thoughts on the episode Juggernaut. Let me know, what did you think about this episode, and what are you thinking about with Rampart? What do you think is going to happen with him with the rest of this series? Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.